Hello, I would like to talk to you about a project that I've had over summer, which is Mesh Router ManaGeR. It's a project that have been partially sponsored by my work because they will actually be using it there. It's a utility made in Python 3 that lets you manage several wireless routers that are set in access point mode through SSH, and any wireless router worth its salt supports SSH, either with a custom firmware like dd-wrt, which is what this tool supports, and I know literally almost every single Asus router that is out there at the moment supports SSH, which are the two firmwares I have profiles for, because those are two ones that I'm able to test with. But it lets you manage them through SSH, change the wireless network name, the wireless password, the channels, and if the router supports it, also the roaming assist and the web UI port. So the tool is very simple. It's a command line tool. You download it and then you run it, and it tells you what commands you can use. So if you jump over to the command line, I have it already downloaded. And we will actually use this interface later on, but what it will actually what this is my laptop, and here you can see the wireless routers that I have for our test and the wireless names. So if we jump over to here, we can try and run Mesh Router ManaGeR, which will fail because we haven't actually configured it. So we need to set up a SSH private key, and I know it says 2046, it's supposed to say 2048, but it's late while I was writing this, and I'm going to change it after the video. But I would recommend you to use 4096 as the bit length for the RSA key, but most routers support only 2046 for some reason. So let's make a key, and we want it to be 2048. Oh, TRSA. I want it to be in home downloads, and I want it to be test key because it's just going to be a test key. And if you want to automate anything with this tool, you can't have a passphrase, because the passphrase will like block the input, and well, it will block the command line, and you will have to manually type in the password. There are probably tools to get around it, but it's not something that I'm actually looking at. So if you know how to actually send the keystrokes to it to type in your password, that's fine, that's on you, but I will use without the passphrase. And to get our public key, which we'll need for the initial setup of the routers, because you need to essentially add them, kind of. So what we want to do then is SSH keygen y f and then test key. So here is our public key, which we'll add to the routers, which will require us to open our web browser and go to the routers themselves. This is the Asus Lyra Mini, and if we go to administration and then system, and then here you will see enable SSH, which will put the LAN only, and this part here is in, I found that this is Portuguese and it says allow login with password, which we do not want. But here we have authorized keys and we paste in our public key here. And then click apply. Then we can jump over to our dd-wrt router, which is a old NetGear router running custom firmware, which is dd-wrt. And we go to services and we scroll down until we find Secure Shell SSHD. We enable that, and then on authorized keys we just paste in our key and then we press apply. What this does is that it lets anyone who uses the private key that matches that public key to sign in on the router, so that we can actually do things through the command line. So that is actually what we will do here now. If we jump over to command line again, we can open the config file and add the key here. And what happens now when we try to run the Mesh Router Manager is that it will error out and tell us that hey, you should actually look at the help, which we can do, and from here you can see that it lets you do quite a few things actually. Oh, sorry, I need to actually have mouse mode on. So what it lets you do is that it lets you set the SSID, which is the wireless network name, the PSK or pre-shared key. It lets you change the authentication method, which is PSK for VPA1 and PSK2 for VPA2. Channel, and the channel for 5G. It lets you change the SSH key remotely, change the HTTP and HTTPS port for the web UI, and if your router supports it, it will also let you change the roaming assistant so that it will kick off any clients who have a bad signal to the router. You can also do a dry run and a commit. The dry run will just do everything and print out the commands, while a commit will actually send the commands and reboot the router. So remember earlier that we have these 4 networks, and I want to change the name of I want the 2.4 GHz and the 5 GHz on Lyra to actually match and be the same. So with Mesh Router Manager I can do that. I can do SSID and call it Lyra same. And what I can also show you is that it also changes the passwords. So if we go back here into the wireless tab here, and we see Lyra test, and here you see a test password. So what I can do in the command line is VPA PSK, and it's going to be a new password, and I want to commit the changes using the Asus 2-band profile, and I want it to do it on, since I only have one router here with the same profile, we do it on that one. And if we commit it in config, and it will reboot the router. And if we go here and actually just try to go anywhere, yeah, please wait, applying settings. The web page doesn't work because the router is actually rebooting. And we can even ping the router. And as you see, no signal. If we go here, we might be able to catch it just as it comes up, but yeah, it's not here. So once this actually is back up again, we can actually have a look at the changes. Oh, here we go, it's back up now. So if we switch over to my laptop, we can see if the network has come up. No, it has not, but has the web page come up? Yes, it has. So if we go here, we can actually have a quick look and see if our settings have changed. And here we go, live same on for 2.4 gigahertz and new password. And 5 gigahertz is named the same with new password. Pretty nifty. Now, if you, let's say you wanted to apply settings to several routers, well, you can do that. There is something called groups here, and let's call it my network. This is my network.list. It has to be a .list file. So what we do here is that we just add all the IP addresses for our routers, and since I only have one dd-wrt router here, I can't really test with several. And the same thing, I only have one Asus router here, so I can't test with several. So this will just have to do. Now, what I can do here is that I can use the dd-wrt ATH2 band profile, and what we want to do is change the dd-wrt to dd-wrt HK, and I want to set a different name for the 5 gigahertz network, which I can do by just doing a space and then a new name. So I want the dd-wrt, just so I can find it, and my 5 gigahertz. So I will commit these changes to group equals my network. And there we go, it's committing config and rebooting that router, and you can see that it's actually connecting to the router and actually trying to do the changes, as this is a header file that the dd-wrt prints out for every single session. And we can check if the web page will even load, which it won't, because the router is now rebooting to set the new settings. And this goes over the basic features of Mesh Router ManaGeR. It lets you create your own mesh-like network, and with mesh I mean same wireless name, same password, bigger coverage. It doesn't have the actual mesh capability of AI mesh, which seamlessly lets you transition from one network to the other one, but it lets you make a very similar experience, and it lets you have the seamless transition on routers that support that with RSSI. But on routers that don't support it, you can still manage them. It makes it easier, and you don't have to spend time signing in to every single router manually to change things. You would still have to do it for firmware updates, but I'm planning to try and do an automatic thing with that too, but I'm not entirely sure if I can. But maybe I will be able to, who knows. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I hope you will have a nice day, or night, or evening, wherever you are, and I will see you all later. Bye bye.